Guys, it's been a long time since we've done an email video. We've got a great one for you today. I'm joined by Conor. He runs an e-commerce, email marketing, and SMS agency out of Europe and works with clients all over the world. He's here to talk to us about the three big flows, and it's going to be an awesome presentation he has for us. Conor, welcome.
Lovely stuff. Thanks so much for having me, Chase. I know you're saying kind of like a long while since an email video, like you're saying. So hopefully we can bring some good value to the listeners today and make a good presentation for them.
Sweet, man. Well, the floor is yours. I know you've got an awesome presentation. We'll run about 25, 30 minutes of full action-packed content. So excited to learn from you.
Absolutely. But look, I'll share a screen here. I'll get everything going, and yeah, we can take from there. So we go here, and then I'll go to slideshow view. Awesome stuff. Here we go. So is that showing up for you?
Yep, looks great.
Beautiful. So what I kind of wanted to run through today. So basically, whenever we're looking at email and SMS marketing for our clients, like we're looking at essentially like what's going to give us like the most value, like for the time that we spend on whatever it is that we're working on. And we've kind of found that with these three flows, like when we obviously build them correctly, we just find that the revenue that we're able to drive is pretty insane. And so it's quite funny. It's like when we look at a lot of our clients' accounts and we go into kind of some of the very advanced stuff that we like to do down the line. It's funny, if you really beef up like the core aspects of their account, it's really where you're going to get most of the juice from. So really for anyone who runs a brand or is running an agency and kind of wants to really learn how to really make an incredible welcome series abandoned cart post purchase. Yeah, we'll dive into all that today. So basically, really brief, I'm not going to labor on this. Run an agency, done about 11 million revenue for clients, like testing kind of wacky concepts, kind of shower thoughts, to be honest, which is kind of what you'll see in a lot of these flows are kind of just wacky ideas we've come up with. You can probably tell I'm based in Ireland due to the accent, but we work with clients all over. And yeah, I'm not going to bore you. We can get into all the email and SMS stuff. So what we're going to go over is essentially principles of a great welcome series, abandoned cart. Really, this is abandoned checkout. Obviously, as Chase kind of elucidates in a lot of his stuff, Clavio is going to really call abandoned checkout abandoned cart, but we're going over kind of the trigger is certainly abandoned checkout, and then principles of a great post-purchase flow. So we've done a lot of testing here. So some of these concepts might be new because we go a bit overboard sometimes with some of these flows. So yeah, definitely make sure to focus and maybe take some notes if you find it interesting. So without further ado, principles of a great welcome series. So I'll kind of go over like the first things we look for when we look at a good welcome series, or like when we look through an account. And probably like the first thing we're looking at is how long is the welcome series. So like oftentimes we see people with, let's say, 2 emails in a welcome series, and then we're like, okay, well, that's simply, you can definitely add a lot more there. And so we've had welcome series where for one CBD client, I often reference this. Obviously they can't run ads, and so it's very important for them to remarket. They have a 14 email welcome series, and it's still getting like 36% open rates, towards the end. And, with really good content, mixing offers and content, like point 2, you're able to do that. So really you want to make it nice and long. And then also you want to mix offers and content. So like, it doesn't get boring. It's not like we're just hammering the same message over and over, because it will start to become lost on people. Another thing is like, we want to maybe progress with the offers, maybe get a bit more creative with them, or maybe kind of, ramp them up that little bit. And then also kind of use more exciting copy. So we'll go through each individually. So you might be saying, okay, great, 14 email welcome series. Well, what on earth do you actually put in a 14 email welcome series? How the hell do you even do that? So basically 3 things from a principle perspective. If you look at Robert Allen, he's someone who talks about this quite a lot from a principles perspective of building status, building trust, building belief, as we go through a welcome series. So in terms of status, show where you've been featured, who loves you, that kind of thing. If you're building trust, show how it's made, give a big promise, like a guarantee, show reviews, show behind the scenes action, whatever it is. So, and you build belief by showing results comparisons. So I'm going to go into examples of all of these. And really the point I'm trying to get at is that if anything builds these 3, like you can get creative. If you hit these 3, anything can really go in there. It's not like you're pigeonholed into just having, a couple of topics to talk about. So an example of building status. So featured in Goop, Birdie, Forbes, Vogue, and then obviously like a little, bit of brightness in the copy. We don't need to do our own horn, but toot toot, beep beep. Here's where we've been featured. If we're looking at building trust, this is a brand called Represent Glow. You've probably seen them around on Twitter. They're a really, really cool brand out of the UK. And here, like, they're showing behind the scenes action from the brand. You're like, wow, like this is pretty interesting. And it does build quite a connection to the brand. If you're looking at building belief, this is one of Chase's clients right here, Disco. Like you're seeing here, here's like what our competitors do. Like they're using kind of, questionable products, or questionable ingredients, I should say, in a lot of their products. We don't do that, so you're building belief that we're different as a brand. It's a really, really cool email to do. So anything in your welcome series is going to work really well if it does any of these 3 things. So within there, that's kind of the content perspective of there. So we got to talk offers. Like, how are we going to mix offers into all of this? So really, your subscribers follow a journey where they might come from paid ads, from paid search or organic search, or from other means. Let's say it's word of mouth. Let's say it's organic content. Let's say it is, I mean, affiliates. It could be a lot of different sources. So if we're just kind of hammering the same message, like you'll see with a lot of good brands with great welcome series, it kind of you might look at their welcome series as an email marketer and you'll be like, is that a campaign or is that part of the welcome series? You're actually not quite sure. And so here, if you're just going, here's the same message of 10% off, over and over and over, it starts to reach this point where you can't really get through to the audience. So you want to kind of bounce around side to side and vary up your message a lot more. So actually Disco is a great example of doing that. Would really recommend subscribing there because you'll get those series and you'll be like, God, is this a welcome series email? I actually don't quite know. It seems like a campaign, and it keeps it very interesting and engaging. So here, let's say if we're going from 10% off your welcome offer to a letter from the founder to content, like let's say behind the scenes, maybe a factory tour or something like that, back to the 10% off offer, then a quiz, what product is correct for you. And then here, maybe you take that instead of a 10, let's say you do 15% off, and then you go back to how the products are made, in the content, and then you go free gift with purchase. It's just who knows what's happening there. And all the time, because we have our filters of if someone purchases, they're not going to be getting hit with all of this. If someone purchases, they're going to be removed and they're going to go into our post-purchase series. So here, just vary it up. Remember, we're trying to get through to our first-time buyer here and try to get them to make their first purchase. So we kind of want to vary the stimulus. It's almost like it's like what bodybuilders say about shocking the muscle. It's like different kinds of stimuli in their training. So basically, I'm going to add one more trick here, and then we'll kind of get on to abandoned cart. So this was with a skincare client where we were doing free shipping for the longest time as our front end offer. We get about 95 cents per recipient on their welcome flow, which like their AOV was kind of low, so it wasn't too bad, and like a 4% opt-in rate. So then we basically went through their SKUs. Like we started doing a lot of like free gift with purchase kind of offers. We found one SKU that was $28, but only had $4 product cost. Free shipping cost them $12 on each order. So we went through, we did free gift with purchase. It only cost $4. Opt-in rate goes from 4% to 9%. And welcome series rev goes from 95 cents per recipient to $5.58 a recipient. So margins increase and revenue increases. It's kind of cool. And so basically you kind of don't know what's going to work in your audience. Like Chase has talked about this before, where it's like, 10% off, compared to like $5 off 50 could be the exact same offer mathematically. It could be the same thing, but sometimes people just perceive it differently, and different offers will work a lot better on a certain audience. So with this audience in particular, free gift with purchase, for whatever reason, that just really resonated. So we got more than double the opt-in rate. And you're seeing here like nearly a 5x increase in terms of the revenue per recipient. It was quite transformative, actually. So yeah, make sure to test your front end offers. It's going to be the most impactful test that you really do in your welcome series. So yeah, and obviously there, if you're doubling the people coming through your flows, you will, look, maybe you'll double revenue, but you'll at least 1.5x the revenue of your flows if you're doubling the people coming through there. So final step, use engaging copy. I'm not going to go through this in all the depth in the world. I made a document. You can drop me a message or somewhere on Twitter if you want the document. But basically, reciprocity, don't be boring, and kind of don't be selling constantly. Commitment and consistency, segment based on their interest level, and kind of speak to that accordingly. Social proof, kind of show reviews where you've been featured, your Trustpilot, etc., etc. Authority, as seen in. If professionals endorse you. Liking, we use a character quite often for some of our clients, and also using a bit of humor. And then scarcity, if you have low inventory levels, call it out or use countdown timers. If a discount is going to expire, I won't get into all that here because time constraints, and Chase is a very busy guy, so we gotta move on here. So we'll keep the show on the road. So that's it for welcome series. So if you want to go back over that, absolutely do. But we'll move on to abandoned checkout really. So luckily, welcome series is like the longest portion of this whole kind of presentation here. So the abandoned checkout is quite simple. However, that doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. So it's very simple, but you want to follow a couple of principles. So here you want to think about where someone is in the funnel. So that kind of alters the objective. Like if someone's in browse abandoned, they're probably looking around to competitors. They're probably maybe checking Amazon. They're looking at reviews. It's, they're not really at like the highest level of interest. Whereas if someone's in abandoned checkout, they're at the finish line, but there's just something. There's just one thing that's kind of maybe it's some distraction pops up or whatever it is. We just want to get rid of objections. That's literally what it is, so it's actually quite simple. So we'll go through how to do so. So the three things here: understand your structure, handle objections, very clearly, and show huge social proof. So what I mean by all of these, so with structure, so in the image behind, so here, this was split up by, you see how many times someone's placed an order, so if they placed an order or not, but we normally do it by cart value. So oftentimes you'll have, let's say, free shipping above 50, free shipping above 75 or 100, whatever it is. And so we won't do an offer in email one if someone's beneath that threshold. But if someone's above it, we can make an offer in email one and be like, hey, you also have free shipping, if you want to purchase. And it tends to increase conversion rate quite nicely. So I would recommend doing that in terms of your structure. And then the second thing is to increase the incentive for non-buyers. So let's say you're doing 10%, as your offer. You go zero discount for, like, let's say the first two emails. 3 and 4, you could do 10%, 5 and 6, you could do 15. But you can also go from like 10% to free shipping, to free gift with purchase, or, encourage them to bundle based on their cart value, whatever it might be. So yeah, basically I would recommend varying the offer here as well. But if you can make it that little bit sweeter, if you can kind of throw in some way to sweeten the deal later on, you will get a lot of conversions. So I actually made a note for myself to exit slideshow view, because one of our designers did not kind of remove the client's info too well here on this slide. So I'm going to zoom it out a bit more so we don't dox anyone. But pretty much when it comes to handling objections, what we're going to do is they have like 3 objections fundamentally. So I made a thread on this at one point before, I can't remember when, but you're going to have objections based on shipping time and cost, generally, quality and satisfaction, and returns. So we normally do actually like a plain text email in the second email, and literally call all of these out. Shipping time and cost, we deliver extremely quickly. Quality and satisfaction, we never really get returns, but if you want to do returns, our returns are super, super easy. There's zero hassle there. So, I normally wouldn't show this, like even in the thread I didn't show an example, but for Chase, we got to show the good stuff for his audience. We'll show them the kind of sauce here. So I would recommend actually doing a plain text email and really calling it out. And it's funny, it delays when you have to give the discount as well. So you'll get really good open rates, you'll get really good click rates, and it just works super well. So I'll go back to my slideshow view here, just so I don't get anyone in Slack blowing me up and giving out to me here. So the last thing is showing huge social proof. So we often use save blocks here. So you see where we've been featured. Trustpilot is excellent. Free UK delivery over £50. Next day delivery in the UK. This client primarily does target the UK. And then also showing social proof like reviews. And I don't know if you've noticed this, Chase. I'm sure some people kind of have, but I've always found like almost the less polished a review looks, nearly the better. It seems to just work better with people. And one thing as well, another tip from I think this was from Robert Allen as well. He puts testimonials and reviews right beside his CTAs or right under them. And I found, like, anecdotally, I'm not going to be analyzing the data and seeing what the difference is, but I have kind of seen a bit of a difference in click-through rate there. So this is really, really effective in abandoned cart, just showing that people are showing that you have huge social proof around you. That's it for abandoned carts. So those are kind of the 3 tweaks that you would need to make. So understanding structure, handling objections, and then showing huge social proof. It's really, really simple, as a flow. But once again, simple and easy aren't always the same thing. So you want to, essentially build it correctly. It is simple, but just has to be done right. And, generally, I wouldn't see all of those principles really in action quite a lot of the time with a lot of our clients when they come on board. But it's very important to get them all in there. So our last flow, you may be noticing a theme that these flows are quite long. Like I'm talking about a 6 email abandoned checkout, but like this post-purchase is long, like very, very long. But when you're looking at like here, this is in November as well, which is client or customer acquisition season, shall we say, and this is the top performing flow in the account. Disclaimer, this is not normally the case. Like I'm absolutely not saying that, post-purchase is generally not going to be your top performing flow, generally not. But if you build it correctly, it can be a really nice earner. And also, the margin on repeat customers is, it's definitely a huge theme in e-commerce these days that we're talking about. And like, I know, at Geek Out events and stuff like that, there's been a number of presentations on this topic specifically. So yeah, like if we run the numbers here, if we assume like a $90 AOV, and let's say we can take someone from 1 purchase to 3 purchase, LTV goes from 90 to 270, or yeah, LTV. Purchases 2 and 3 are from your channels. So we'll really platonify it. Let's say we remove Klaviyo costs, agency costs, whatever it might be. Let's say you get a 3x ROAS on the first purchase, which anyone will probably take. $30 on ads, and let's say with everything that adds up, profit on order 1 is $18. So 20%. But if profit on orders 2 and 3, if you're not paying the ad costs, like yes, you're going to have all these kind of ancillary costs, but that's going to be roughly $48 each. So you go from $18 to $114. So yes, the LTV triples, but the margin actually more than doubles as well. It's not the same. So the profit, the profit margin percentage doubles, which is quite interesting in this example. So you really want to prioritize this as much as you possibly can. So what should go in here? Once again, 3 principles. Split it up by number of purchases, make it nice and long, invoke reciprocity, and don't be too pushy. You have to bear in mind this person is now a purchaser. We don't want to be, we don't want to be using too much kind of direct response tactics of nearly bullying someone into a sale, which I definitely have gotten emails like before. Particularly with some of the supplement brands I would buy from, I definitely get a number of those emails for sure. But yes, we want to be kind of a little bit lighter touch here. So I'll literally show you what I would put in here for a first-time buyer. Thank you email, what to expect, or a consumption email if it's a consumable product, a review request, social media and SMS list promo, a cross-sell, and a cross-sell reminder. So examples, here's like a thank you email. Hey there, just want to reach out and say thank you for making your first purchase with us. Doing it in plain text is really nice. People really do appreciate that. And if you actually address this from the founder or from a character, it's kind of funny. Like you will actually see replies from people where they're replying to Emma, and Emma doesn't actually exist. Sorry guys, but she doesn't actually exist. And here it feels really personal, like plain text. I mean, I'm sure you'll agree with this, Chase, as well. I feel like it's criminally underused. I think there's so many instances where plain text can just crush it. When used sparingly. But yeah, so we normally like to do a nice thank you like that. And what to expect. This is from a brand called Space Goods that I actually drink every day. You've probably seen the founder on Twitter. A friend of mine does the emails here for Space Goods. And so you'll see here it's a consumption email. It's like, well, you may be tempted to rip your bag open and get dialed in for the deepest, most creative work sessions you'll experience. It's getting people excited here. So, where if it's, this is a consumable brand, but if it's like electronics or if it's clothing or whatever, you just want to give them kind of a what to expect when they kind of open their package, when they get their order, and just get them kind of excited. So then what we'll do is once it's arrived, we know the order is fulfilled. This is actually from a client who's okay with us showing their stuff. We can go for a review request, and this is like really powerful. And one thing here that we're actually kind of testing out with clients of ours who we're doing app development for is like, if you can do push notifications and do a push notification for a review, it's extremely powerful because there's no friction whatsoever. And so if you're doing push notifications or SMS, review requests, it's super, super simple for people. It works well by email too, and I still would put it in there. But yeah, it's just to be conscious that like you want to remove all friction when it comes to getting reviews. Social media or SMS promo works really well. So here, this is a preview, so it's not pulling in, the product here. We're under this bad boy. So there, I would probably recommend, promoting your SMS list over social media. It's probably something I've kind of changed my mind on a little bit. And like with SMS, as you know, if you get an SMS subscriber, they're just so likely to purchase and probably purchase multiple times. They're super hot buyers. So if you can promote your SMS list, super, super powerful here. The more you can do that, the better. If you're doing it in a flow and it's actually automated and pushing people there, all the better. So final thing, a cross sell. What's the only thing better than 1 watch, 2 watches? And then we're going to do a little reminder as well. We have a little incentive there. We do a little reminder also. And this tends to work extremely well. Like we're trying to push people up the ladder here a bit more. So yeah, I'm not going to go into content for second-time buyers in the sense of, kind of time concerns, and also because you're going to be able to piece it together based on what I've put in those 6 emails. So I would just say thank you again. Make sure to speak to that. Hey, we know this is your second purchase. Upsell them to your VIP list. Say, if you purchase 3 times, you're a VIP, and then remind them of the upsell as well. So I'm sure you can decipher it based off the previous examples. Third-time buyers, thank you again. You're extremely generous. You're purchasing with us quite often. You're one of our most valuable customers. And then that shouldn't say upsell to VIP list. I would actually just leave that there. I would just do a thank you, because generally, if they're a third-time buyer, you can probably put them as a VIP. And then for 4+ buyers, just do like a really, really heartfelt thank you. This is actually an example that I put in here. So, like really thanking these people. There's some of the most, there's some of the closest connections that you're going to have to your brand. So like when you genuinely thank people, it's crazy. Like you might drive like a ton of revenue through an email like this. I've seen it, a number of times, and it's just people are like, wow, no brand ever communicates to me like that. It's quite unique. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the presentation. I went over how to construct a really good welcome series, how to construct a really good abandoned checkout, how to construct a really good post-purchase flow. And you'll see they're quite long. That's probably a principle you'll see throughout. Really invoking like actual principles of persuasion. So I hope you enjoyed, hope you learned a lot from it. If you need any help, you can drop me an email or drop me a DM on Twitter. If you want the copy document as well, you can drop me a DM there. That's pretty much all I wanted to go over, from a principles perspective. And of course, a big thanks to the homie Chase for having me on. So I'll stop sharing here, and yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. I'm really glad that this was the first video I've done in a while after being on a break from video. So people are gonna love this. You were awesome. We'll definitely have you back. And thank you so much for your time, man.
Thanks so much, Chase. Really appreciate you having me on. And yeah, we'll be talking soon.
All right, cheers.